Ciao ragazzi, this is Katie Portanova, and you're listening to Florence and Me. I'm a lover of stories and all things Italian, and I'm going to bring you all that in this podcast. My intention is to inspire you to step out of your comfort zone and explore life and travel the world. Join me as I tell you my story and many others about Italy and my love, Florence. Andiamo! Ciao a tutti! Another episode of Travel Tips by Katie and Truly Italy. Today I'd like to talk about things to avoid while traveling in Italy, or traveling to Italy. The first thing that always comes to mind is not that I think anybody would approach these people, and no offense to these people, but the gypsies. The gypsies are a group of people that literally look like gypsies, like from the movies. They have kind of tattered like clothes. They're usually from, I don't even know what nationality they are. They could be Moroccan, Albanian. They speak a language that I never understood. But anyway, you can see them because mostly they're in a crowd. They're usually in crowds of tourists trying to pickpocket and steal money and make you give them money. And yeah, I had an encounter with them in 2005. When I'll tell you the story, because I always like to tell people the story, because I felt stupid at the time because I had already been to Italy before. This was my second time living there, and I felt stupid. I fell for it. We were in Piazza Signoria at one of the restaurants, and the little boy came up to me and waved his sign in front of my face while he took my wallet off the table because we were about to pay. I did not notice it was gone until I was trying to figure out what did I do with my wallet, and they were gone. Like gone. I had no idea where they went. Thankfully, my passport wasn't in there. It was just my debit, my credit cards, and some cash. Thankfully, obviously I never found it. But the gypsies are a conniving little bunch. Even on buses, if you take buses when you're traveling, they are really good at taking things out of your pockets. So making sure you have one of those neck holder with your passport if you plan on carrying your passport around, or one of those fanny pack things, making sure that you have your hand on it all the time. And again, now that I haven't really lived there in so long, I'm not even aware that they're still prevalent, but I'm sure they are. So look up gypsies in Italy and you can see a picture of them. They usually have matted hair, dark skin. Maybe they're from Turkey too. I'm not really sure exactly the nationality. It doesn't really matter. Just be aware of them if you see a group of them, or if you see them coming in front of you shaking a can. They usually shake a cup or a can with change, trying to get money from you. So avoid them. If they're coming your way, go the other direction or just ignore them. Say no grazie, and they should go away. Another thing to avoid is bankomats, or ATMs that aren't located inside of a bank, or outside of a bank rather, because mostly the bankomats are on the outside of the bank. You don't have to go inside. The only reason why I say this is I've heard stories of people having their money taken out of their account because there was some sort of mechanism in the ATM that was able to record their PIN number and their number on their card. It's better just to go to either Banca Toscana, Monte dei Paschi, Deutsche Bank. That's another one that's really big in the bigger cities. BNL is another one. BNL is the name of the bank. Banca Intesa. Wherever it says Banca, you're good to go to get your money out. And be aware that you can also, when you take money out, it's not in Italian. When your card gets put into the ATM, it'll automatically go to an English language on the screen, and then you can choose the language you want Just like your train tickets, like I talked about before. You can choose the language you want to take money out. You don't have to do it in Italian, thank God, because who knows how much money we would have taken out if we don't know Italian. So yeah, bankomats, go to the bank itself. Do not go to ones next to a tabaccaria, next to a bar, inside a bar. Just trust the banks. Even though Italians don't. Another story. Tourist traps, restaurants. Tourist trap restaurants. These are the ones that I might have talked about before, where I just read an article about this. So ones that have all different languages on their menu. You'll know this because these menus are the ones that are plastered like onto like a board like outside of the restaurant, where it gives people an idea of what, they serve there. If you see like French, German, Chinese, Japanese, English, Italian, I don't know, Swedish, I don't know. If you see a lot of languages, don't go there. That is a tourist trap. If you see a waiter trying to get you to come into the restaurant, that is a tourist trap. Do not go there. Well, I wouldn't say that. Let me back up. It depends on where it is. Okay? If you don't see anybody sitting down at this restaurant, it probably is a tourist trap. If it's in a big piazza and it's full of people, it's probably a tourist trap, but it's also probably good. So either way, you can choose how you feel. But when you see the menu that's in all Italian, it's only in Italian, or maybe like an English translation underneath it, that one's good. Okay. The other thing to avoid, if you see the red checkered tablecloths, that is a tourist trap. Do not go to that restaurant. What was the other one? If you see menu items that speak like an American menu, like fettuccine alfredo, which doesn't exist in Italy, and when they say pasta bolognese, no, don't go there. Okay. I think that's it for the tourist traps. Just, you know what? Just look for restaurants that have you can look on TripAdvisor. I mean, it's pretty decent these days. But look for a menu with just Italian in the menu. That's all I gotta say. Don't travel in August. Why? All of Italy is on vacation. If you travel in August, just be prepared when you go to these smaller towns. There's probably going to be a lot of restaurants and a lot of like locales that aren't open, because a lot of people take the whole month of August off. So it's freakishly hot, unless you really like being in 110 weather. It's up to you. But it's not a really happening time in Italy. And when I lived in Florence, I would always go home in August because, one, it was freakishly hot. I didn't want to sit in my apartment dying of heat, and there was nowhere to go because Italians usually travel to the seaside in August, and everything's freakishly expensive as well. I'm using freakishly a lot today. It's really expensive on the seaside. So unless you booked ahead of time, it's rare that you're going to get a good deal if you go to the seaside. Another good point. If you plan on going to the beach, probably the better times to go is June and July, where Italians are still working, kind of, but you can at least get a good place to stay. Again, if you book way in advance. Things to avoid: big, huge bus tours. Now, I'm not dissing like the bus tours that you probably already scheduled for. Totally fine. If it's your first time in Italy, it is a great way to see Italy, but be aware that you're going to be rushed like nonstop. I've had so many people come to me and tell me, gosh, I wish I never did that bus tour. I mean, it was great, but I didn't get to really see Italy. that's where I come in, and you can come to one of my retreats. I can help you with some trip consulting and get you to enjoy your time in Italy and not be rushed from going from one destination to the other, one landmark to the other. And especially if you're on a cruise ship, that's where I find it's the worst, because you're bussed in from, for example, Livorno, which is like an hour and a half drive, and you have the day to be in Florence, and yeah, you're not going to see a lot. I'll be honest. And then you got to get to the bus again, and then you got to get back to the boat. Anyway, for me, I don't like that type of travel. If you like that type of travel, great. If you are a bucket list checker-offer, that is your type of travel. But if you're looking for something more intimate, more authentic, then bus tours, big, huge bus tours full of 40, 50 people is probably not your cup of tea, okay? And the last one I want to say, because this one always gets people, especially my older clients, Italians do not eat dinner ever at 5 p.m. Not like in the States. Okay? You will not find any restaurant open at 5 p.m. What you will find is wine bars that have aperitivi, which is happy hour, which is just as well. It's just as good. You pay for a drink and you get a free buffet. Done. Sold. I'm in. That is like my favorite. That was one of my favorite things to do when I lived in Florence, because you pay for the drink, which was like usually 5, 6, 7, 8 euro, depending on your drink. And you get a free buffet, as much all you can eat. I don't know if they do that anymore because of COVID, sadly. One of my favorite places where me and Stefano met in Florence, it no longer exists. So it's sad, because it was a really, really good aperitivo spot. So when do Italians eat? Italians eat earliest 7:30, 8 p.m. Restaurants usually open at 7 p.m. You will not see a restaurant open before that. So if you're hungry, go to a happy hour. Buy your hotel, buy your Airbnb, check it out on TripAdvisor, something that's close by. Florence has a plethora of places you can go where they have aperitivos every day. So yeah. So if you do end up going to dinner at like 7, which again, don't make a reservation because nobody's there. It'll be peaceful. And just know that the crowd don't start coming in until 8. Again, another thing that a lot of tourists don't know, but Italians work late. Like they maybe start at 8 or 9 a.m. and they end by like 6 or 7 p.m. Okay, and that's why they go and eat dinner at 8. So it's just a different culture, different work-life culture. So yeah, do not eat dinner or try to eat dinner at 5 p.m. even if you're tired. Have a quick dinner at 8 p.m. and then run back to your hotel and go to bed if you like to get to bed early. But I imagine if you're in Italy, you want to experience everything. So taking a nice nighttime walk after your dinner is a gorgeous way to end your night with your loved one or family, whoever you're with. All right, so that's it. Things to avoid episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was helpful. Buongiorno, buonasera, buonanotte, wherever you are. And ci si vede. A presto. I am beyond grateful for you listening to my podcast right now. I am so excited to share my journey of living abroad and all my stories of Florence and Italy and all the places in between that I've visited. If this has reached you in any way and you would like to continue, please subscribe now. Also, go check out my website, trulyitaly.tours, for all my travel experiences. Ci si vede. Ciao.